guys, so today I'm here to do a collaboration video with a bunch of awesome ladies. So I am going to just start off with letting you know that their videos are going to be in the description box below, and then at the very end of the video I will also have a slide with all of their channels on it that you can just go ahead and click and go check them out. So the theme of this collaboration is things to do when your child is bored. There are a lot of ladies in this collab, so there should be something in your age range depending on how old your kids are. But my video is going to be a little bit of a different perspective, and it's going to be talking about how to avoid boredom and how to teach your kids deep play. A lot of you guys know that for Revelyn, we don't really have any electronics for her. We also have a lot of wooden toys, and we don't have a ton of toys. Now, I totally understand that this might be a little bit of a controversial subject, and I just want to say that I am not saying in any way that if you have a ton of toys for your kids or if you have electronics for your kids that you're doing the wrong thing. That is not the basis of this video, but I want you to have an open mind and kind of listen to the thought process behind how to teach your kids deep play and how it can help avoid boredom. Now, obviously, kids are always going to have bored days. You know, if it's raining and they haven't been out in a while, winter, we all get bored, and it's going to happen every once in a while. But it happens a lot, and I mean a lot less, if you can really teach your kids how to do deep play. And a lot of that has to do with the amount of toys and the type of toys that your kids have. For Revelyn, like I mentioned, I think we have 3 electronic toys, and electronic toys aren't really even the main issue. The issue is that nowadays you see a lot of kids' playrooms, there's just a lot of toys. Kids just have a lot of toys, and it's not even necessarily that you purposely have in your mind, I'm gonna have, a ton of toys for my children. It just kind of happens from birthdays that you have for them. Just grandparents love to buy their grandkids things, and you just kind of get a large surplus of toys. And this thought process also comes in with minimalism, and I know that is something that is going around right now. So I'm just gonna kind of talk about the basis behind not having a lot of toys and why that will help teach your kids to have better playtime. So the biggest thing is that kids and their attention spans, they're known to have very short attention spans. And when you have a lot of toys, the attention span can get even smaller because there's constantly something else for them to look for. They don't learn to really appreciate the toy they have or play with the toy that's in front of them for as long of amount of time because of the fact that there's so many other toys for them to choose from at all times. So for Revelyn, we actually have only 2 places really that we keep toys for her. We have our coffee table that is out in the living room, and there's 4 compartments. Now, I usually only leave 3 open to her during the day. So depending on the day, I kind of switch it, and that's another thing that can help is maybe you have a lot of toys. Instead of purging all of them and getting rid of them, you can just kind of cycle throughout your toys. So keep some of them out and then keep others later and then kind of switch them out. And then that can help avoid boredom because every couple weeks you're switching out toys and there's new stuff for them to play with. So I kind of go with that thought process, but on a smaller scale of only leaving 3 of the 4 cubes open for her each day, and then I can kind of turn it depending on really what kind of mess I want to clean up, because certain cubes cause more messes than others. Some people may be surprised to find out that Revelyn probably has a total of 2 to 2.5 hours of independent playtime every day. So the majority of her days during the day, she is playing by herself, and I am either getting YouTube stuff done or I am cleaning up around the house, or just being 36 weeks pregnant, because that can take a toll too. And then obviously though, I do some learning things with her during the day as well. But the majority of during the day for her, she is either napping, she's having independent playtime, she's eating, or she is learning something with me like colors, shapes, numbers, things like that. And then we save kind of the nighttime for when we really play with her. And the reason that I am able to edit videos, unless of course she's sick or something like that, is because of the fact that she has learned to deep play, and she can play with the weirdest, strangest thing. She'll be able to play with it for like a half hour straight. And we actually kind of came upon this thought process of deep play by accident. For those of you guys know, we do elimination communication with Revelyn. That was something that I had researched and known a lot about before even giving birth. But this deep play concept was something that naturally I just kind of did. So we bought a lot of wooden toys for her, and I already knew obviously that would help her creatively, because electronic toys can be great, especially if you have a couple of them and the majority of their toys are not electronic. For those days that they are a little bit bored, you can give them the electronic ones. Now, she always has access to those, but she rarely ever pulls them out. Probably once a week, maybe once every week and a half to 2 weeks, she maybe pulls those out. With having the majority of toys being electronic, it kind of takes away from their creative aspect of things, because it's the noise that is keeping their attention and not necessarily the toy itself. So, you know, with wooden toys, they have to figure out things to do with them, and things to keep them busy long enough, and there's no electronic sounds or noises that are going to keep their attention as long. So it kind of teaches them to be more creative, have more of an imagination with the things that they're playing with. And I definitely noticed that her having those types of toys has played a big role in her imagination, and she definitely has a good one. And I've also heard, I was reading on a blog post about this as well before making this video, and I will link it down below if you want to read it. They were also mentioning that, like, for siblings, a lot of people think that having more toys will cause less arguments between siblings. And like, in my mind, yeah, that totally makes sense. I would think that the more kids you have, the more toys you'd want, or like double of toys so you don't have fighting. But if you've seen kids play together, it's usually, they don't want, even if there's two of the same thing, it's like dogs, you know. There's two dogs, they both have the same exact bone, but they want each other's bone. It's kind of the same thing for kids. Sounds a little bad comparison to dogs, but it's kind of the same, where they just want the toy that someone else has. And so by just giving more toys, you're just giving more things, as the blog post said, to give them, to kind of claim territory over, and causes actually more arguments than if you had less toys. And after I read that, it totally made sense, because I was thinking that eventually we'd probably need more toys with more kids, but the more I really think about it, it's probably not a good idea. And the one awesome thing about having less toys is that cleanup is so much easier. Now, once they get a little bit older, of course, you can teach kids to clean up their own things, and they should hopefully be cleaning up their own things. But when they're younger, something that I've done since Revelyn really started playing with toys is whenever she goes down for a nap, I always put her toys away, so that she gets in the habit of knowing, kind of subconsciously, that when she wakes up, her toys are put away. And so it kind of instills that cleanup mode for her at a young age, even when she's not physically or mentally capable of learning to put things away. But when she's older and I start really teaching her to put things away, which we've already started with that a little bit, it'll be easier for her to comprehend why it's happening. And so that is one thing with less toys. It's a lot easier on you putting away the toys, because there really isn't that many. It probably takes me 5 minutes at most to put away all of her toys. And that's like if she took out a lot of stuff, which she doesn't have a lot of stuff, but like wooden toys, there's a lot of pieces to them. Like, she has her wooden animals, and sometimes those can be spread out all over, and if we have the ball pit out, then the balls can take a while, because those end up all over the room. But at most, it's probably maybe 5 minutes to put away her toys after her nap, and it just feels so much better being able to have them put away. It didn't take a ton of time, and then I can focus on what I need to do while she's napping, and not be looking at a huge mess on top of, you know, maybe I need to do the dishes or things like that. So I hope that this video made some sort of sense. I should have really wrote down a list of like all the points that I wanted to talk about. I think that I hit on everything. Having too many toys, it doesn't mean that, you know, you failed in that aspect of things. There's no perfect playbook on here. This is what you do for every single thing, especially because every child is different, and something is going to work differently for each individual and their personality. So even if you want to take my advice in some sort, you're gonna have to adapt it to your child and make it work for them and make it work for your family. The last couple of days with my pregnancy has just been super difficult. I am 36 weeks right now, and I'm gonna have kind of a bigger update for you guys coming up soon with my next pregnancy update, so stay tuned for that, where I'm gonna talk about some important things with you guys. I hope that you guys got some sort of good advice out of this, and make sure you check out the ladies in the description box below, or click on their channels at the end of this video on the slide, and I will see you guys next week as always. Bye.